In this business case video, we're going to explore how you take the data and work from your front-line data researchers to get information about your company out to your different leads, and then sync that information from Google Drive in order to begin to execute automated marketing. So the steps, the first, at the very front of every process, you're going to have your data researchers who are going out and finding people and coming up with some relevant message to engage them in a conversation. Now, likewise, what they're also doing is they're typically entering data, information from those people into Google Drive. Now, what you want to do is make that connection between all the data entry into Google Drive into a marketing automation platform like Makesbridge in order to begin a drip stream, a contextual relevant drip stream. So the first thing I want to do is I want to show you a sample message that we would send out to target companies. Now, one of the sweet spots that we have is we run across companies that have delivery issues. So our data researchers, what they're trained to do is find out what companies are having problems with deliverability. And they get the contact information and they send them a handcrafted email from their own outlooks. So the components of the message, and this does make use of the Makesbridge system, is that you want to provide a call to action link to the individual. So in this case, what we're doing is we're explaining that there are some competitors out there that have delivery issues, and then we make a consultative suggestion to them. So we're not just hitting them up with, hey, check out our features. We're empathizing with their situation, and we're making a suggestion on what specifically they could do to get some assistance for that. So we point out our moderate pay-as-you-go plan after acknowledging their issue, and we give them a link to our website. Now you'll see that there is a tracking code at the end of the URL, the $PMC equals J. Now right off the bat, with your researchers, the Makesbridge system can get to work for you, because we are going to track on all your researchers' messages like this. We can track how much traffic and the conversions that are occurring on your website as a result. The other thing we're doing is we're just giving that credibility, and we're having them go to our listing on the App Exchange so they can check out our original 100% real testimonials. So after the researcher has gotten this email out, you want to get all the data into Google Drive. So it's very simple. Now we use a sheet called list building, and you just have the email address or all the different fields in the very first row. Then in the second row is when you can begin to populate all your data. So think about all the people around the world, whether in the Philippines, Pakistan, India, wherever, here in the US, doesn't matter. They can all be filling data, their research data, into the single sheet. And you see that we have this one sheet called delivery issues, because that means when we set up our syncing, which I'm going to show you how to do it in just a minute, is that we're going to know that all the people who are coming in have that specific problem, and it's going to set the stage for us to begin that dialogue. So the point we're at right now is that our researchers from all over the world have added data into our Google Sheet. And that Google Sheet is shared, again, across the globe, and we want to import that sheet, all that data, into Makesbridge so we can begin our automation and begin our follow-up. So from the main page, I click Connect Apps, and I'm going to go into Google. So the first thing I'm going to do, if I've not set up my Google account yet, is I'm going to click Setup and click Add Account. And then I'm going to accept the credentials. And that's going to make the connections to make sure everything's okay. So now I'm done with that. Now it's time to set up my import. Now I've already set up an import for demonstration purposes, but I'm going to walk you through how it was all done. The first thing I did is I had set up a dedicated list for these people that I'm going to be importing from Google. So I'm going to run the search on Google, and you'll see I called the list delivery issues. Now I'm going to click Next. Then I can select the spreadsheet. So we had one called list building, as you recall, and then there was that specific sheet, that specific tab of delivery issues. And then I did my field mapping. So you'll see that we got the first row being shown here, and that's going to help me with my mapping. So we see email, company, first name. That was in the first row, the field, and then in the second row, that's where we actually had the contact information. So then all we need to do is just select the fields to do our mapping. Now I didn't choose geography, or I'm not going to bring it in because I'm not going to need that in the import. That's more important for just the researchers. And I don't need to know who's entered the data either. But what I do want to know is what will be the assigned sales rep that we're going to do, because we're going to use their signatures to personalize the message to go out. So once I've got my mapping set up, I just click next, and then I'm going to set my recurring import. So we're going to say that we're going to do this every day of the week, business day, and we'll do it at 1:00 p.m. And then I just click save. So then back on our sync screen where we see all of our imports, you see Google Drive delivery issues. That was the name of the import that we made, and it shows when my next import is going to occur. Now that our sync is set up, it's time for us to get busy on sending out that first email that is going to be the follow-up to that person that was having delivery issues. So I'm going to go and I'm going to click email bot, and we're going to call it delivery issue, become a member. So we're going to reach out to reinforce the first researcher's message, and we are going to invite them to become a free member. So after I name my bot, the first thing that the system's going to do is it will prompt me to set a target. Now it already set the target for Google Drive contact has delivery issues, and I'm going to show you how that target was set up. Now in the target, what I did is I set the filter and by the list. So anyone who came into that Google list is going to be part of it. Now the other thing is I don't want to have a solicitation for a free membership going out to anyone who's a customer. So I set our relationship status, which is a custom field that we have, is not equal to customer. So that's going to ensure that whenever folks come in to the Google delivery issues list from that Google sheet, and as long as they are not a customer, then they are going to get that mailbot. So that's how I set the target. Now back on my page, I've got my target set. Now it's time to tell the Autobot how often should I send out the email, or should it send out the email. So we're going to say it should repeat, and we want to have it repeat every 2 days, but not send out more than twice. And now I'm ready to create my message. Now I'm going to use an existing template to get this fired out, because we have a template already created for follow-up to people to offer a free membership. So I clicked on use template, and I'm going to choose this message here. It's an introduction to Makesbridge, and I'm going to modify this template with a introduction that is relevant to this person who has already heard from us. Now the message was about us calling out a pain, which was delivery issues, and then we also let them know we were going to follow up about a free membership offer. Now once I've set up my message and I've set up my subject line, all I need to do is click play, and then the Autobot is going to start to get out to those people 2 messages after they enter into Makesbridge from Google Drive. The final thing I'd like to show you about this is the reporting. So you're going to want to know how many different new leads have come in, or contacts have come in with this delivery condition. And you'll get to know that by seeing how many times the Autobot has been fired, and is it going to be fired. So with the delivery issue become a member, we're looking at our Autobot dashboard now. I can see that we've sent 1 and that there's 1 pending. Now remember, we're going to send the email twice. Once when we see a person match the rule, and then we're going to fire again 2 days later, and then that's it. So let's have a look. We see our population, and yes, that's the person who is in our Google database. And then we see that 2 days later, look on May 9th, that they're going to get the message again. Now, what's great about the Autobot is you do have full reporting capabilities. So you're going to see what the click distribution was across all the different links. You're going to get your opens, your clicks. You're going to see how many page views were generated, etc. And this concludes the business case on how you take contact data that researchers create for you and then turn it into an automated program on Makesbridge, and then also get some visibility on reporting as well. Thanks a lot for tuning in.